So before the video even starts, guys, can you guys please do me a favor? Watch the video all the way through if you can. And also, if you like the video, please hit the like button and possibly share the video. And if you really want to see more content from me, definitely subscribe. This helps us with the YouTube algorithm because likes and things like that are the things that drive us to be seen by other people and by people that normally wouldn't be able to see our videos given that we're a smaller channel. So with that being said, guys, let's get into it. So Game of Thrones Tyrion Lannister, aka Peter Dinklage, decided that it would be a good idea to go on a woke rant about Disney's remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, that's not the funny part. The funny part is that Disney gave a shit about his little rant. Are you kidding me? So, if you didn't know, Peter Dinklage was on Mark Maron's podcast, and he goes on this diatribe about how Disney, being that they've race swapped Snow White, which again, race swapping a character whose literal designation is in the title. Her characteristics, she's Snow White. She is now being played by a Latina actress. So I guess instead of Snow White, she's going to be refried bean brown. But he's saying they haven't gone far enough in casting woke and that the idea of dwarfs is now offensive. Let me go over this with you guys just so I don't paraphrase and or miss any context here. Dinklage says, well, you know, it's really progressive to cast a literal, no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback. They're very proud of casting a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me because you're a progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backwards story of the Seven Dwarfs living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man? Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Number one, it's a folk, it already exists. Just because Disney got a hold of it because it was in the public domain and made it a franchise film doesn't mean anything. They're the Seven Dwarfs. Second of all, they didn't live in a effing cave. They worked in the cave. They were mining precious rocks and metals. They lived in a house with Snow White. So now that that's out of the way, are you retarded? I mean, seriously. And I mean, because I really enjoyed, Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister. But we're talking about a dude who has only played dwarf roles. Literally only played dwarf roles. If there were no dwarf roles, you wouldn't have a soapbox to stand on unless you were, at the grocery store. So I don't understand your beef. This is literally stupid. You were Tyrion Lannister. The only reason that you were cast is because you're a fucking dwarf. You literally are a dwarf playing a dwarf. That's like me playing an angry black dude. It's not that hard because I'm already there. You could say it's not even acting, but let's not play games here. Come on, bro. In Game of Thrones, they literally chanted by calling you half man, and now you have something to say about seven dwarfs in a folktale? What's next? Are you gonna try to boycott hobbits out of Lord of the Rings? Is that too far? Is Gimli as a dwarf too far because he's short and can't keep up with Legolas? Is that what we're gonna get at now? This is literally navel gazing at its best. He goes on to say, have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. No, it's not that you're not loud enough. It's that everybody can hear your hypocrisy from a mile away. I can't believe that you went on a diatribe about this after making millions of dollars playing a dwarf. I don't know what studio that is, but they were so proud of that, and all love and respect to the actress and the people who thought they were doing the right thing. But I'm just like, what are you doing? They're trying to cash in on an existing franchise and make a soulless live-action remake of a beloved classic fairy tale, fool. That's what they're trying to do. What kind of... If you tell the story of Snow White, and it's the most effed up, cool, progressive spin on it, let's do it. All in, but I just don't know. Well, you are right about one thing. This is definitely effed up, and you helped. So, in response to this, Disney apparently caved to the pressure. Their response is as follows. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. The film has been in development for 3 years. The studio has been reimagining the dwarf characters since the earliest stages. Press F to doubt, motherfucker. Y'all ain't been reconsidering shit, especially considering all of the other live-action, almost shot-for-shot remakes that you've done with the tokenism of maybe adding a gay character here or changing a character there, or making some strong female characters or women protagonists where there were none. I'm talking about you, Aladdin. Y'all wasn't considering shit. So really, what really happened here is that you decided to change everything because there was a little ruckus. So let's be clear here. Peter Dinklage, you'll probably never see this video, but I need to tell you what you've done. You just cost 7 little motherfuckers their job. Whoever was going to be cast as the 7 dwarfs are now unemployed, and they have you to thank. So while you go on to play the next dwarf role, which you will, because you're the only real dwarf with any acting talent around, or at least that they're willing to consider because of how insular Hollywood is, these motherfuckers will never be seen because you've cost them their job. So here we go again. Hollywood navel gazing and fart sniffing has now put some motherfuckers in the unemployment line. So now we have to deal with Snow White Rice and the 7 regular motherfuckers because you had something to say. And Disney, you're not without shame for this because rather than just, withstand a little criticism, you had to cave into the pressure. But, what are you gonna do? So apparently this is the way that Disney's gonna operate. Started with Gina Carano, because a little criticism and she gets fired, you lose a bunch of fans and a bunch of money off of The Mandalorian, so much so that you had to put on the Book of Boba Fett, which nobody asked for, and it's terrible at that and boring. It's even worse than terrible, it's boring. And now with this Snow White remake, which was going to be a soulless piece of crap anyway, now you're literally doing Snow White rice and beans and the 7 regular sized bitches, and people are not going to recognize it because it's now unrecognizable. You've done the tokenized race swap thing, and now you can't even sack up and put 7 dwarfs from the damn folktale, which includes 7 dwarfs. So, what are we really gonna do here, guys? And what's even worse is the fact that the 7 dwarfs were actually the best characters in the folktale because they showed a young girl kindness without ever asking for anything back, and they were the most human of all the characters because they took a girl in, gave her shelter, hid her from a sadistic woman who was trying to murder her just because she was old, and you've literally screwed up the entire story. More than you'd already done with the tokenized race swapping of Snow White. I hope you're proud of yourselves. So let's recap. So a navel-gazing Hollywood pretender who can only get roles for being a midget because he is one. I'm sorry, dwarf. A midget, that's a derogatory term. My bad, guys. A dwarf costs 7 other dwarves their job, and now the company that has caved to a little bit of pressure from a little person now is seeking woke points by completely changing an old folk tale which they've already cashed in on and apparently don't want to make very much more money on. I guess get woke, go broke strikes again. But you tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'm gonna go take a little break. 8-Bit Heroes out. See you on the next one. Peace.